soon. Dang, we're almost done already. All right. We need a way. Yeah, let's go back to MetaZoo. Let's talk about MetaZoo for a second. So obviously, the new company that's part of MetaZoo is supposed to launch MetaZoo 2 in 2025. Actually, it's 2025 now, which is why I waited to make this video. And there's been a lot of chatter about it. So again, to remind you all and give you guys some pieces of information right up front. Number one, sorry, I have absolutely zero plans to do any videos on it or anything. I've had zero communication with the new company. I'm going to just go on a limb here and just assume they just don't like me, or they think I'm the reason that MetaZoo failed, or I don't know. God knows what people think. People come up with crazy stuff. So I'm gonna, because of that alone, I've had absolutely zero contact and communication with the MetaZoo 2, Meta 2 company. I don't know what kind of products they're going to make. I don't know. I mean, they seem like smart people because they have a lot of money and they seem to know what they're doing. But I have no clue what the plans are. I don't know how they're going to manage it. I remain very, very surprised that the MetaZoo company was able to get a buyer for that dollar amount. I mean, obviously, hundreds and hundreds of you guys asked me if I was going to buy MetaZoo and take it over and run it correctly or change it or whatever wording you want to use. And, well, no. The problem is the MetaZoo name is just so damaged and so toxic. And there's so much anger by so many people with just the name MetaZoo. That's, to me, spending over $2 million for the name or the brand alone, it can be done. It can be turned around. It doesn't have a guaranteed chance of failure. I don't think that's the case at all. It can work. It can be turned. The problem is you're up a situation where the odds are so bad. The probability of the new MetaZoo working is just unfavorable. And from a risk-reward standpoint, the risk just seems really, really high for the potential reward. Now, again, they may have information that I don't know. I do know they got some inventory, but most of the inventory they got and the inventory that ended up in the dumpster was all... I don't know why people always take things out of context. The most valuable MetaZoo stuff is going to be Kickstarter, First Edition, and I guess the last set Native, which is still at an all-time high. Native boxes over $100. Isn't that crazy? So the issue, though, is, well, does the new company change their mind and go back and reprint old stuff and destroy it to make money? Does the new company make new product? And I believe they said that the new MetaZoo product will not be compatible with the old MetaZoo product, right? So because of that, I'm not really sure how, because a lot of people lost a lot of money in MetaZoo. And the people who made a lot of money in MetaZoo, me, at the end, again, started losing a lot of money in MetaZoo. Because, well, everything fell apart and, any inventory that you held or was sitting on, obviously, everything just, well, tanked. Because, well, the company just kind of said, peace out, bitches, I'm out. And everybody was like, I mean, I'll never forget the day I found out when Mike put that post out and everything. And I remember that post because I didn't even know what was happening. And all of a sudden, I had all my email and Patreon blew up with messages like, did you see what they did to did you see what management did? And everybody was just like, wow. And then, of course, you had the second batch of people that were like, well, poor management and bad people who do bad things and this and that, they get what they deserve. And there was that army of people saying, well, I knew it was going to fail along, and they got what they deserved. So you had all these different type of people pop out of the, I can't believe it, to they deserved what they got. Well, Mike ran it to the ground, to, well, God knows. You will never really know the last few months what the behind-the-scenes real conversations and phone calls and messages were. Because we'll never really know. Are we already to the last one? And, because of that, we don't really know what the ultimatums or what was said or how... We don't really know. Now, I've had some chatter over the last few months from some people who claim to work in the warehouse of Golden Distribution. Artists and people who claim to have been involved. There's been some chatter on stuff like that. Really? Green Crane again. So, God, really? One Rudy? Dang. the green crayons. We got the most. 4 green? Jeez, we did get the most, didn't we? 4 greens? That's so crazy. 4 greens, 4 red, or I'm sorry, 4 green, 4 blue, and of course, at the very end, as you guys know, 3 red, and the 1 rare, infamous, Crayon Eater Rudy card. That's still very, very expensive. Even the crayons are not cheap. I think the crayons are $50 to $100. I think the Rudy's over $100. Still very expensive. Not including you get all the packs and everything. But anyways, you know, I remember at the end I got some messages in the last 60 days regarding some people who worked in the warehouse and the infamous picture of the MetaZoo in the dumpster, which I guess was it all second edition boosters or spell books? I think somebody told me one person claimed it was all second edition boosters. Someone else said it was there was a little bit of a blend, but that was again because they printed. To this day, I'll never forget. I don't know why. It's just I don't want to speculate on things I don't have answers to, but I guess the closure of that, and then we'll make another 6 months from now. We'll see if MetaZoo 2 does anything, and I guess all I can tell to anybody who wants to be involved with the new MetaZoo, obviously, good luck, and you're in a very, very major uphill battle because you're going to try to sell a new product with a name that's been branded as like corruption, scam, and hosing, not paying people, bankruptcy. It's a very, 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 very difficult kind of branding to kind of overcome. Now, it's possible, but man, it's going to take time. And I see, that's the thing is, if I was going to make a new card game, like, I wouldn't use the name of a game that bamboozled people and the management wrecked it, overprinted it, and went through bankruptcy. And has lawsuits between printers, players, artists, and, like, I wouldn't want to build a new card game and attach myself to that, you know? If I was going to make a new card game, I would just use, you know, make it, why use the name MetaZoo again? Like, the people who bought it. Like, I would personally probably do something like, I'd probably just rename it called, like, the Cryptid Adventure or Cryptid Creatures. Ooh, CC, Cryptid Creatures. You know, I would make a new name for my new brand. That's what I would do. But that's just me. You know, what do I know? I've never actually, you know, designed R&D of a game before. I've never actually done that. So, you know, my knowledge in that's not exactly polished. So, to zoom back out in this conversation today, I just want to remind everybody, I expect through 2025 that we see a lot of new card games start up. Okay? Because our market is so strong, and the market conditions are so positive, and just everything's doing so well, and the money machine is going burr, and everything's crazy, just be aware, we are going to see a lot of new things pop up, and I think a lot's probably going to go through Kickstarter, and just understand, most startups in Kickstarter do fail, and you will lose all your money. Okay, most of the individuals who want to design and make a new game, it doesn't really matter how good the game is, you know, because you have different components. When you create a game, how's the game and the mechanics? How's the artwork? How's the framework? How polished does it look? What's the cardstock quality? Who's printing it? Where is it being printed? You know, I mean, then you move to the next thing. What about the management and the owners? Are these owners really good at game design? There's a reason why someone like Rudy's favorite company, let's see, back in the day, Squaresoft, Blizzard North, old school Konami, you can use that one loosely, you know, Atlas, you know, there's a lot of these things. Working Designs, I think they're still around. A lot of the people who make these creative, good video games or card games or good adventures, and they're able to build a world, that type of human and that type of brain is usually not very good at business, finance, and analytics. Like my brain is wired for numbers, analytics, percentages, probabilities, and of course just any form of financial type of thought process. Like my brain just goes around that and handles it real well. Now my brain, you know, it's very, very rare for an individual to be wired really good for game design and creativity, but also business analytics. Those things they don't click good, you know? So this reinforces what I'm saying is that when someone makes a really good game, chances are, even if the game's really good, the odds of them being able to manage print runs, launch a product, navigate the business landscape, manage cash flows, finance, and build it where they don't take a huge short-term win, and which damages long-term brand. To be able to do those type of decisions is really difficult, especially if you're not rich. Again, I don't care what anyone says. Having access, using the word rich or wealthy, the 1%, these are our modern social media terms that are very polarizing. But the reality is, you need resources. And if you want to do crazy things in this world, you need a tremendous amount of resources. When I was a kid, I remember thinking, whoa, can you imagine having $1 million? And now, I think it was I remember it was a Vanguard or Fidelity or Merrill Lynch or Chase. One of the bank's brokerage firms said something like, having $1 million in the bank now, you can't even retire on. The Millionaire Next Door, which is some of the books and things I used to read in college, now you have to have 3 to 5 million. The scales and the numbers because of inflation, economic situations, and remember, folks, from 2020 to 2022, we experienced 20 years of inflation compressed and consolidated into 24 months. So the acceleration in the repricing of the world, especially when it comes to stocks or real estate or any of these things, they went through the roof. And for normal people who don't have incomes that scale and adjust to these type of metrics, it's a very devastating thing. So this goes back to, to build and do something, even if you have a good product, you need a lot of resources. So to end this video, like I've been telling you guys, to make a new product, not only do you need an amazing R&D design product, you need unique, captivating artwork, okay? You need a good printer in actually, printing process to make the product really nice. Packaging, the view, you need good artwork. Then you need good logistics of where to handle and who to trust to move this stuff to. Then you need a tremendous amount of bankroll or resources or money or rich wealth, whatever. You need a lot of money. Then on top of that, you need access to a Rudy or another major influencer or a huge, OnlyFans chick that'll jiggle your cards around and get guys to stare at it. And then on top of that, you need access to legitimate major distribution. You need to have so many things. Now again, you don't need all these things. Maybe distributors say F you. Maybe you don't have any money. Maybe Rudy doesn't like you because, you banged his stepsister or something. I don't know. Do I have a stepsister? I don't think so. Pretend I do. It'll make you feel good. You don't need all these things, but the less of these things you have, the higher the probability that teeter-totter tilts to failure. So this is all a numbers game. It's all a probability game. And that's my attitude towards it. So the end of the video here, I expect a lot of new startups this year. I expect most will fail for the reasons I just outlined. And the problem is everybody who makes it, they think they can be different. They think they can break the mold. And it's nothing to do with the individuals and all the people who message me and this and that. It's just the problem is the market conditions and the difficulty. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're talking about taking on a task that takes years of work. You're risking all your money. You're probably not going to make any money for a while. And, you may go bankrupt, and everybody thinks they can do it better. And there's a reason why. Well, usually everybody's wrong. As we say on this YouTube channel, over 90% of investors in the stock market, in the collectible world, in real estate, in flipping single cards, over 90% of individuals never make money investing, even in the crypto world, which crypto world to me is essentially Bitcoin, Ethereum. Everything else to me is just, I don't consider really. I know there's 1 billion coins and everything, and I know some of you guys are billionaires from Hawk Tuas, and all these silly things, but I consider crypto just Bitcoin, Ethereum. And, you know, I think the problem is people don't understand risk. People downplay risk. People, because the brain has a hard time seeing risk sometimes if you've never experienced the risk. Does that make sense? Like if you've never incurred a certain type of risk, you don't know to be afraid of it. Your brain can't be, you can't get anxiety for something you don't know exists. Right now, people who leverage up to buy Bitcoin. Right now, the hot thing on Wall Street, everybody wants to leverage in 2x, 3x, and 4x funds to leverage their exposure to the S&P 500, or leverage their exposure to NVIDIA, or leverage their exposure to Hasbro? No, no one's that dumb. Leverage their exposure to Tesla. Like, young people, well, I only got $1,000 already, so I'm going to leverage it in I'm going to put it into a fund, and that's going to leverage to 4 to 1. Then I'm going to go on margin. So I'm going to like 8 to 1 my leverage. And this is why crashes and resets need to be embraced. This is why failures are important in life, folks. My focus is to stand the test of time. My focus is to know that no matter what decision I make, I ask myself, okay, well, what's the worst case scenario? Will I live to fight the next day, or will I go to zero? If I leverage this and that, and I'm wrong, how much damage can that do? You have to remember that. Market crashes is one of the healthiest things on Wall Street in the card world. Has anybody ever stopped to think what Magic would be like if Magic didn't have a 2-year bear market? I mean, has anybody ever stopped to fucking think what would happen if Vintage wasn't 3 years of negative in Vintage Magic? What if Pokemon, Scarlet Violet from day one, SVO1, was booming? So that will lead me to the next video we'll do another time here. But I just want to end this video on startups and why they're dangerous, why most of them fail, and why most of them will continue to fail, even the ones that haven't even come out yet. And be very careful, everybody. If you enjoy the games and you actually like the product, then yeah, buy a startup or Kickstarter, have fun. But just understand, please don't buy into that expecting to 10x your money like the internet or some meme coin or joke crypto thing. And, you know, that's just not the healthy way to do it. And if it works out, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. But just understand that, you know, you need data, history, and experience to navigate this stuff. At any time, the market can turn and that trend will no longer be your friend. All right, folks. You'll have a beautiful day out there. Thanks for watching. Should I buy out a single card? I feel like I should buy out a single card. Or a series of cards? Maybe I should buy a series of cards. Has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever taken like $1 million and wiped out an entire market of actual individual cards? Has that ever been done? I think that'd be fun. Penis.